think meal planning is draining and overwhelming? I hate to tell you, but you're probably doing it backwards. Today I'm going to be giving you 4 easy and actionable steps to put together a meal plan in just 15 minutes per week. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Taylor from The Girl on Bloor. I'm all about sharing easy meal prep strategies so that you can save time, money, and stress. Okay, so the number one thing that I hear from people when it comes to meal planning is that they feel like they don't have time for it. Let's face it, there's a lot going on in life, like a lot. Meal planning can feel like one more thing added to the pile, and it can cause a lot of decision fatigue even if you do find the time to sit down and do it. A lot of people overcomplicate the process. Tell me, have you ever spent 30 minutes scrolling through Instagram or Pinterest and then you still ended up not knowing what you wanted to make for the week? Yeah, I've been there. Well, if you're like me, when I first started meal planning 12 years ago, you probably started with all of these good intentions to eat healthier and get organized, but then fell out of the habit after a while because it started to feel like a massive, overwhelming chore. So before we start this video, I wanted to preface it by hitting you with the cold, hard truth. You have to eat every day. There's no way around that. Why not make your meals as easy and healthy as possible? Whether your goal is to reduce daily stress, get more time back in the evenings, feel like you have more energy, or just save some money, it's worth it to learn how to meal plan as quickly and efficiently as possible. To help you be more consistent, I'm going to be sharing 4 simple steps to meal planning in just 15 minutes each week. If you find this video helpful, I've got a special 4-week meal plan on my site that you can download, so you can get that link in the description below. Now, before you can even start with step 1, one thing you really need to do is actually make the time for meal planning. This is the number one thing that I see people mess up on, is that they allow themselves to get so burned out and so tired that they can't even sit down to make a plan. So what I recommend that you do is actually reflect on your current schedule and try to assess your energy levels at different points in the week. You don't have to sit down on a Saturday morning and do it. Maybe it's during your lunch break on Fridays. Maybe that's a more relaxed day for you when things feel less rushed. I really do encourage you to make it the least stressful as possible, because that's when you'll actually be able to stick to it and not feel completely overwhelmed and like it's an impossible task. Also, when we're tired, we tend to have decision fatigue. Those two things go hand in hand. By choosing a date and time that works for you, you're more likely to actually stick to it. And that's another thing. Make sure you're being consistent, because that will help. I am actually one of those people who does my meal planning Saturday mornings, and unless I'm going away on vacation or something, it's just turned into an appointment that I've made with myself every single week. It just gets done because it's now a habit. Okay, now that I have that little disclaimer out of the way, we can now dive into my step-by-step weekly meal planning routine. So, step 1 is to audit your fridge, freezer, and pantry to identify ingredients you need to use up. This is what I meant when I said you're likely doing your meal planning backwards. I see a lot of people making their meal plans based solely off of what looks good in a photo without even realizing that maybe they have to buy 20 different ingredients for that recipe. That adds up real quick. Instead, you're better off taking stock of what's on hand and then working around that. Maybe that means that you only need 2 ingredients for a recipe, or you don't have to buy anything at all because you already have it on hand. I'm just also super passionate about reducing food waste. When you actually look through your whole kitchen, you'll be able to use up what's going to go bad without spending more money. But that's not the only benefit. Auditing your kitchen also reduces the need to keep a running list of what you're running out of, because you're constantly taking stock of what you have. Say goodbye to the freezer black hole, because you're regularly checking in on what you have and using it up. I even do this with my pantry, because often we buy things that are on sale or things that we don't need because they'll last longer. So when you go through the fridge and freezer, don't forget to go through your pantry too. Now, here's a bonus step, and that's to take a look through some grocery flyers to see if there are sales on specific fruits, veggies, or proteins. Don't pay attention to the canned goods too much, because the sales aren't as good and you don't need to have a crazy stockpile of them. I have to admit, I don't usually look through the flyers because honestly, I find it overwhelming trying to plan to use what I have up and then incorporate other items as well. So if you make the process too complicated, it will prevent you from sticking to it each week. I'm also self-aware enough to know that I don't have the patience, so trying to do too much will just lead me to do nothing. Do what works for you though. Now, step number 2 is to refer to a list of recipes. This is key to preventing overwhelm and is a real game changer. I love to develop my own master list of recipes that I like, along with recipes I want to try. I just try to make it as plain as possible in a simple note doc on my computer that also syncs to my phone, so it's always with me. I don't have to worry about scrolling for endless amounts of time, and I have everything all in one place for easy reference. What I like to do is to divide the list into 3 sections. Number 1, recipes I like, organic, aka the ones I know and trust. Number 2 is quick meal ideas like frozen pot stickers and broccoli, or soup and grilled cheese, or pita pizzas. They're still relatively healthy meals, and maybe you're getting a little bit of help from frozen foods, but it's still a lot better than getting takeout or fast food. Lastly, I'll list out some recipes that I want to try. These are ones that I find on Pinterest or while scrolling through Instagram. I actually have a food photo folder on my phone that I browse through because I like having visuals, and then I just have plain links in my master recipe note document. Now that we have our master list, it's time to move on to step 3, which is to look at your schedule. Similar to actually finding the time to sit down and plan, we need to make sure that we aren't trying to plan for the sake of planning. If you have commitments during the week, then you really need to plan with those things in mind. For instance, if you or one of your kids has an extracurricular, maybe a sport in the evening, then you should be planning something quick and easy for that night, or maybe something that you can make in advance, like a slow cooker recipe. Meal planning also doesn't have to mean that you need to eat a homemade meal every single night of the week. I know that many of us start with this aim to be perfect, to have a from-scratch meal every single night of the week so that we can be healthy and on track, but that's just not realistic. We can always try to plan around and avoid exhaustion by making quick meals or even batch cooking and meal prepping, but life does happen. We are social beings, and sometimes we need to go out with friends and family, so we need to be able to plan around our existing social plans. If you end up only planning 3 or 4 meals for the week, that's totally okay. There's no rule that says you have to meal plan to perfection or it doesn't count, and trust me, that all or nothing mindset is hard to break, but I'm here to give you that permission to be realistic and do what's sustainable for you. So again, just to wrap up, on nights you're busy, maybe you want to choose a quick meal or a tried and true favorite. Then on nights when you have a bit more time and you can try a new recipe, and hopefully that recipe will be added to your regular rotation so that you have more recipes to choose from each week when you do go to meal plan. All right, now you are ready for the 4th and final step. Once you've checked your schedule, you know what you have on hand at home, and you have a list of recipes to pull from, now you can start putting it all together. Let's say I have an avocado to use up, some bell peppers in the fridge, and then some ground turkey in the freezer. You can do so many things with this combo, from tacos to quesadillas, burrito bowls, a salad, wraps, a skillet meal, or even a soup or chili. You might have an idea of how you could use them, and then looking through your master list should just kind of reassure you that you have actual recipes to pull from. If cooking doesn't come super naturally to you, this may take some time, but if you feel fairly confident with your cooking skills, you should be able to start to see some patterns of where you can use the ingredients you already have on hand at home. So based on these ingredients, I can start scanning my master list and seeing what I can make and identifying what days I need dinners for. Now here's one of the trickier parts of meal planning, and that's trying to find out how much food to make. It's all fine and dandy to select your dinner ideas, but it's another to actually know how much to cook. So one of the #1 things I see people doing wrong is making too much food in general, making too much of the same recipe, and trying to eat it over and over again. We need variety to feel excited about what we're eating, so what I personally do is plan for at least 4 to 5 meals every single week so that you can switch things up without tiring yourself out. For families of 4 or more, this many dinners will work perfectly for you and allow you to eat out once or twice on the weekend and have some quick meals to give yourself a break from cooking. But since 5 recipes won't guarantee many leftovers, you'll probably also want to make a set of lunches for the week for yourself. I've actually got a video on my channel where I show you how to make 5 easy 30-minute lunch ideas, so be sure to check that one out if you need some inspiration. The link to that video is in the description, or you can search for it on my channel. Okay, now I know that there's lots of you out there who just live with one other person, or maybe you live by yourself and simply don't need as much food. Well, I still recommend that you plan out 4 or 5 meals for that variety factor. If you're cooking for 2, then just make the recipe as normal and you each get a dinner and a lunch, given that most recipes serve 4. That way you're only eating 2 servings of something, so you won't get sick of it, and it eliminates the need to meal prep a separate lunch. If you're cooking for just yourself, then I recommend that you cook recipes in half, so you're only eating dinner and then the leftovers for lunch. I see so many people prepping for 1 who make these recipes that serve 4, and then they're just eating the same thing over and over again without any variety during the week. And honestly, that's tough to get excited about. By cutting recipes in half, you also get to buy less ingredients or freeze ingredients that you don't use for another time, so it does save you on the budget too. And there you have it, the ultimate 15-minute food waste reducing, money and time saving meal planning routine that you'll actually be able to stick to. I'm going to make another video, maybe it'll be published by the time you're watching this, to put all 4 steps into practice so that you can actually meal plan with me and see just how easy it is for yourself. You'll also want to keep an eye out for a grocery shopping tutorial because I also have a super efficient way to do that. Meal planning is the very first step to eating healthy on a regular basis, and it's also the first thing you need to do before you can do any meal prep, so get to practicing with my 4 steps today. I hope you find them super helpful so that you can spend less time agonizing over what to make and get back to enjoying your weekend. If you're looking for more meal planning resources, be sure to head to the link in my description. I've got you covered with some more helpful blog posts, and don't forget that I'm also sharing a 4-week meal plan for you to download so that you can start to get in the habit yourself. If you have any meal planning tips or tricks that I missed, be sure to share them in the comments, and if this video changed your perspective on meal planning, please send it to a friend who would find it helpful. Seriously, word of mouth helps my YouTube channel grow and allows me to continue to create meal prep resources that will help you free up valuable time that you could be spending doing more things that you enjoy. Okay guys, those are my meal planning tips for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.